This show is brought to you by Loud and Opinionated.
Thing I was like dying to talk to you guys about. I found the show on Netflix that is like blowing my mind, and
What
it's
is
one of
it?
the best shows I've ever seen. Have you guys heard of Breaking Bad?
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, watched it like 5 years ago.
This is incredible.
You've
Courtney and
never
I.
watched this before?
Courtney and I are in season 2, and no,
It's
just
awesome.
just met Gus. Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome.
You like that? Once you're done with that, you'd probably watch Better Call Saul. The spinoff.
Yeah, I know. I actually do want to because we've met Saul, and I
Yeah.
like him. He's funny, man.
Dude, the way they end Gus's story is crazy.
Don't talk to me about that.
I'm not spoiling anything. I'm
Okay.
just saying his end, like how they end his arc, is crazy.
And then after this, I'll get around to The Walking Dead and then Game of Thrones.
No, you could skip The Walking Dead. The Walking Dead.
Never watched The Walking Dead.
I watched
No.
the
Or Game of
first
Thrones.
5 seasons and then I stopped. And I'm someone who read the comic book, and I was just like, I can't watch this anymore.
Well, there was an actual like cool thing I did want to start the show with. So Brandon had a special trip over the weekend. Why don't you tell us what you did
Oh yeah, I went down to St. Louis for Albert Pujols' return
for
to
your
St. Louis.
birthday?
For my birthday.
For your birthday?
Yeah, my girlfriend got me tickets.
You
for
went
my
down just for
birthday.
Albert.
Well, that could have been cool too.
Well, my birthday was in April, so I got
Yeah.
this present a long time ago. But we went down for.
But how awesome of her to know which one is the most important.
Yeah.
You know.
So we went down Friday night and watched his very first game back, and then I was also there on Saturday and we got to watch him hit a home run in St. Louis again, which was pretty cool as well. So that was pretty exciting. It definitely trumped you saw nothing about the Blues, even though the Blues literally just won the NHL championship the week
Yeah.
before.
And there was just nothing.
Yeah, not really. I saw a couple billboards, but that was about it.
Who cares about hockey?
Did you see the guy trying to what happened to my microphone? There it is. Thought it went out. Did you see the clip of those guys trying to push over the arch?
Yes,
St.
yes, I
Louis-
did. I did
St.
see
Louis
that.
Blues fans.
That was funny.
It's amazing.
Well, I guess we should actually intro it. Welcome to the Loud Sports Podcast.
Even though
I'm
the
Paul
Breaking Bad
Rubidoux.
podcast,
the Breaking Bad synopsis.
Blue Dudes, the
Yeah.
Breaking Bad.
Yeah,
podcast.
here with Brandon Plecker
Hey guys.
after his awesome weekend as a Cardinals fan, going to see Albert Pujols in St. Louis. Jake Williams.
I'll have you know, I went to Denver on the week before we recorded this. No, yeah, last week. God, my days are all messed up. It's a blur.
Because you went to Denver.
What? No, I went to a Rockies game.
Cool.
Most eventful baseball game I've ever been to.
Did you watch that 13-12 game or whatever it was?
Yeah, it was 14
Yeah, I
to
saw it.
13. Could you imagine scoring 13 runs in a baseball game and losing? That's incredible.
Pretty tough.
Wow.
The first 2 innings were insane because the first inning they had to stop it because there was flooding on the field. Like one of the sides, like I think a water pipe broke or something and it
Mhm.
flooded on the field, so they had to do all that. So like the first 2 innings were like 2 hours because they kept hitting. Like it was crazy. They were scoring run. I think after 2 innings it was 9-8 or something like that. And then so this is extremely hot too. I promise I'll get done with this story soon. It was like 80 degrees, but because of the elevation, it was like twice as hot. It felt like I was melting onto the bleachers. And by the way, it was only $13 for tickets. It was great. We were in the rock pile, as they call it. Then we leave our section, we go in this other place with shade, and then it cools off. So then we go back up to our section, and by the time we go back up to the section, there's lightning and rain.
No,
So the game gets delayed. So then we're like, screw it, let's just go home. So we took the train home, and then they went up 13-9, and then the Padres came back and tied it at 13 and beat them 14-13.
Wow.
They took the lead on a walk, like it was bases loaded, and he walks the guy, and I was like, ugh, pathetic.
Sounds exciting for baseball, I guess.
It was, like I said, most eventful baseball game I've ever been
Right.
to. So
Well, first, before we get into our NBA offseason extravaganza, there's a little football we got to talk because HBO internally had a discussion. They said, last year we had Baker Mayfield, Hugh Jackson, all of that horrible dysfunction. How can we up that? And and they found the Raiders.
Oh boy, I'm
The
excited
obvious
actually.
choice, wasn't it?
It had to be, right? There was an early report from PFT commenter that it was going to be Detroit,
That
but-
would be good too.
but
yeah.
that was almost immediately shut down, and then it came out that it was the Raiders. I'm like, even better. That's awesome.
I think, well, the criteria for Hard Knocks, if I remember correctly, it is that you cannot have made the playoffs the year before. It has to be somebody that's like young and has not made the playoffs. Because a couple years before that, they did the Buccaneers, and man, what a waste that was.
Well, I think it's more interesting to have a dysfunctional team. Are you going to watch more of the Raiders, or would you watch more of, let's say, Tennessee, whoever the 6th seed is, the Saints even? I think the Raiders are a much bigger draw, just like the Browns were last year, because of the dysfunction.
Well, and
the new people that they just brought in as well.
Oh yeah, golden
and
mustache himself.
I'm so excited because of AB and John Gruden. I'm super excited about John Gruden.
I love those guys.
I love that guy. Also, they're going to be moving next year, so I think that's another aspect of the drama of like this is the last season in Oakland, and it's a big deal. I'm excited because I'm wondering how they're going to try to make people. I think they're going to try to win people over with AB. I think they're going to.
He's going to try to. He's going to try to win the camera
he'll be a
over.
big focus of this season.
But does the camera want to make him a good guy? Will the camera follow him to the children's hospital, or will it only show him on his phone when Gruden's talking? That's a big part of it too.
I think it will because they tried to do that with the Buccaneers with Jameis, and it worked. Like I was actually like surprised at how humble Jameis was and likable, and then last season, last summer,
and then he kept doing stupid
then he did
stuff
another
again.
stupid thing, yeah. And then I'm like, yep, I'm done with this guy. But I think that's kind of going to be the focus. They're going to focus on him doing charity work and being like, hey, AB isn't that bad of a guy, and that's all. They have to. It's easy ratings right there to be like, look at. I'm gonna break this chair. Look at this guy being nice. Paul stopped and stared at my chair.
He's trying to go Gruden on me there.
Yeah. I'm pretty excited about it. I'm the only one that will watch it because you guys don't have HBO, you cheapskates.
Never watched Hard Knocks in my life.
I will probably start doing different 1-week trials through my 4 emails and watch Hard Knocks that
I
way.
think it's up to, it might be 2 weeks. I mean, you might get lucky. I don't know.
We'll see. But I'm excited for one of the reasons, and I know listeners of the podcast will know my affinity for Gruden Jr.
Deuce Gruden?
I think the Deuce, there's always an assistant that steals the screen time. Like last year, it was the coach, the offensive lineman coach with the gut that moved when he said hut. And he said that the men that stormed on D-Day didn't stretch like this. They just did jumping jacks and got out there.
I mean,
We're going to have somebody like that. We're going to have the extravagant, the football guy, the vein in the neck yelling at the guys. And I need it to be Deuce.
I want it to be, and I think to me the best thing about watching Hard Knocks is the fact that it's on HBO, so all the swearing is unedited.
No
so
limits.
and it's funny to see these guys because you're so used to hearing like edits and beeps and stuff. So it's really funny to hear this guy just drop an F-bomb. And Deuce Gruden seems like a guy that's gonna drop an F-bomb. Like he's gonna go hard in the gym, right? He's gonna poop his pants doing a squat. That's how hard.
That's
he
a
is.
short guy thing, though. He talks big.
Oh, he's
a
Napoleon.
little guy.
He's
yeah.
Napoleon for sure.
Yeah, he's Yosemite Sam on steroids, with guns in his arms.
You see that guy?
That's
Big
my
guy. That's my guy. That's my sperm right there.
That right there, that's a winner. He won, man.
He's the definition of BDE, my friends.
You should have seen his high school highlights, man. I need that. I need
He bench press his prom day.
I need the scene where the head coach shows tape of his son in high school to the HBO cameras.
I want to say that's the dumbest thing, but I could see John Gruden doing it.
No,
I truly
because
believe it.
he misses his quarterback room or whatever it's called.
Oh yeah, he
QB camp.
film.
He
yeah.
misses QB camp so bad
QB
already.
camp.
He's like, I gotta deal with cornerbacks. I just want quarterbacks. Don't give me these D
Give me a
linemen.
team full of quarterbacks.
Yeah, he wants a 53-man roster of rookie quarterbacks.
I'll mold them. Give me the clay, man. I'll mold these guys.
We will see what will happen on Hard Knocks, and
Oh,
I bet it's
God.
going to be awesome.
I will give, if you guys can't get HBO or don't do it, I will give you my weekly review for the show.
You can do the review.
As John Gruden.
Yes. But now let's get into the Loud Sports Podcast, NBA Offseason Extravaganza. First, we're going to look into the trades that have happened recently, and then we will go to the draft and possible free agency after that. I mean, the big thing so far is this is the league that never stops. This is the league that has no offseason because there's 2 Woj bombs the night of the finals about the finals winning GM. And then 2 days later, Anthony Davis is traded.
I would like to point out, though, before we get any further with the offseason, I'd like to point out I'm the #1 sports analyst. Because I predicted Raptors in 6, and I predicted the Blues would win the Stanley Cup. I'm just saying.
You're the top dog right now.
I am a genius.
Wait till we get into football
I
season. We
am
do
the
like 5 picks a week.
I am the smartest. I'm the best.
I knew it. You knew it. We all knew it.
Keep in mind, I did also pick the Rams to win the Super Bowl. So what do I know?
Yeah. See, you can't. I just couldn't pick against the Patriots. But Anthony Davis for a king's ransom. Who came out on top here, Brandon?
Still think it's the Lakers. I like it. I like Davis. Davis is really good.
Even though the
mean-
Lakers found a way to get this trade done in the wrong way, so that now they might not be able to have another max free.
Well,
agent.
yeah, they obviously didn't trade enough people. They probably should have traded one more guy. I bet the Pelicans would have taken one more guy.
Pelicans would have taken. They're
Do you
taking
think-
half the roster.
Well, they could have they should have threw Mo Wagner in there or whatever. Well, another guy to get that free. Obviously, Rob Pelinka has no idea what he's doing.
no, absolutely not.
And so, but I mean, you have Anthony Davis, so now you have 2 of the top 5 players in the NBA on your team, which I don't think anybody else
Paul's
does.
making a funny face here.
Top
who's-
8, top
who's-
7, top 8.
Who?
Oh, we're gonna go down a road here. KD, Kawhi, LeBron, Steph. I would say are top 4,
Yeah, I could see that.
and then 5th.
Anthony Davis dropped 40 like every week at
Yeah.
least.
It would be okay. I hear an argument for him.
You
as the
you
5th
just
best
you
player.
you are in the moment, which no one's talking about Anthony Davis because he didn't play for the second half of the season.
right.
You got to remember that everyone's talking about Kawhi because what Kawhi did in the postseason.
Mm-hmm.
Just
And now
saying.
they're having the NBA awards tonight, and
Yeah,
everybody's
nobody
nobody cares about
even
these
knows.
guys. Yeah. But they gave up Lonzo Ball, Josh Hart, Brandon Ingram, the #4 pick, which then not Memphis, the Pelicans flipped to the Hawks for another future first-round pick. And then here's what's really valuable is the future first-rounders. They get the top 8 protected in 2021 of the Lakers. It becomes unprotected in 2022 if it gets there. And then a swap in 2023 and 25, and unprotected Lakers first round in 2024.
Jeez.
Yeah, it is a lot, but
It's a lot.
If the Lakers are as good as they probably will be, it's not like that's going to be. They're still going to have Anthony. Like they're probably not. It's not like it's going to be 3 top 5 picks.
But LeBron's
LeBron's going to be
probably
done.
gone after 2021 when his current contract is up.
I
it's,
thought
it's
thought
gonna
he
be hard. Is it through 22?
I thought he signed a 4-year.
He signed a 4. He signed a 3-year deal with a player option.
So
I'm
he'll
pretty
have
Oh,
a
okay,
4,
yeah.
depending on
So 4 years.
depending on when Bronny comes into the league.
sure. So he's got 3 more years, most likely at least.
So 3 more years, and then these draft picks start. That's something to think about. That I think the
Yeah,
Pelicans
but
are really excited
The
about.
Lakers, they're hoping they can get one more guy, and they still have Anthony Davis, who's only 27.
We'll get to that later.
we'll
but
see.
but you gave up Ingram and Ball and Hart, which could be good guys. and
Yeah, but
potential growth.
yeah, but
they were
in
together
2 years,
in LA
haven't they
and-
been injured? Not Josh Hart, maybe, but Ingram and Lonzo Ball have been injured each of the last 2 seasons
Right.
they've been in the league. So,
But
I
that-
mean,
But that's the thing, though, is like they were together in LA and it didn't work.
So this makes LA better for a free agent next month.
I think
yeah.
I think the opportunity to play with Anthony Davis, almost anybody would
Yeah.
take that.
That makes up for the LeBron circus.
What LeBron circus? What are you talking about?
What? There is a LeBron circus. Like KD said, it's toxic, but he means the environment around LeBron. It's hard.
I think there's a factor that plays into that because these kids are so young.
There's a lot of pressure when you play with LeBron.
Well,
Right.
when you look at these
you
kids,
don't get the praise, you get the blame. when you play
Yeah,
with
but you also
LeBron.
look at it this way too, and how I could see this aspect of it. These kids grew up, watching LeBron,
Yeah,
and now they're
that's what was
playing with
different.
LeBron, and he's
Yeah.
saying, "I don't want you. You're not good enough," kind of thing. So I could see how you could see that as being toxic, or not good for the locker room.
It was the situation where it was two generations trying to meet with each
Right.
other.
And
But as a guy my age, if I was coming into the league right now, I think I wouldn't want to be on the Lakers for that reason. What if
But-
I've looked up to this guy since I could pick up a basketball,
Mhm.
and he's gonna not want me? That might crush me as a player.
But that's the point. That's why you get guys that's why you want guys who are older, as in your Kemba Walkers or your Anthony like those guys have been there. They're a lot closer in age to LeBron, so it's not as much of an idol as in like LeBron to MJ. It would be the same type of an
Right,
idol.
yeah.
When you meet him when you're 15 years old and he's
I'm just gonna throw
Balling
this out
out.
there.
exactly.
Never meet your heroes,
It's different.
No, never meet your heroes. I can
or
tell
let
you.
alone play
I can-
with them.
I can tell you the story of Michael Johnson straight rejecting me for an autograph or a photo at the Drake Relays one year, but that's for another time.
I don't even know who that is. But.
Fastest man ever until
Until
the past
Usain
20 years.
Bolt,
Yeah.
I was gonna say.
Fastest American? No, I don't think he's even the fastest American anymore. But yeah, but it happens. Yeah, you're right. Don't meet your idols. Brett Favre is kind of a adulterous scumbag, and that's what you learn.
Oh,
The more
he
you
just
know.
likes to send pictures of his wiener.
Well, there's a lot more than that.
no, I know he's a horrible
But he's
person.
not
got that Prilosec
not a great
OTC.
husband. But back to the Lakers trade.
By the way, I'd like to say I think the Lakers won as well. I agree with Brandon. I think
I'm
I-
on the
I like-
Pelican side
I
of
like
this.
that they got to keep Kuzma
yeah.
because I like Kuzma.
But where does Kuzma fit
The shooter,
with these two forwards?
the shooter who can create his own shot when he wouldn't need to.
Those are three combo forwards, or you're putting a big line out there where Davis is your
Davis will
center.
be a 5. Yeah.
You have Davis as the center, and then Kuzma, LeBron is point forward, and then that's a big line. And
Two more shooters.
okay, but can they keep up with the small running rosters? Like, I know Golden State isn't going to be the same as what they usually are this upcoming year, but that run in three like them, like Portland, like Denver. I don't know if the Lakers can keep up with those teams.
Are you in the camp that also thinks that you don't think AD and Braun would fit together? LeBron and
They're
AD would
the
work.
Perfect fit.
I think
I think they are too.
I think that Anthony Davis is going to be huge for LeBron because he is more of like Chris Bosh and Kevin Love were more spot up shooters that had to really develop the mindset to become a rim protector, where Anthony Davis, his natural skill set fits in perfectly with what LeBron expects from the other big guy on the court. Because the best lineup is LeBron as you're running point forward at the 4. And then you got 3 shooters and you got an athletic rim protector.
Anthony Davis is perfect. He's great in the pick and roll, and he's great at defending the rim.
I think
And
it
he
just
can
matters,
shoot, so he can do what Chris Bosh and Kevin Love could do.
right?
But he's more athletic than both of them and can finish at the rim, which is something that really he hasn't had much. Like Tristan Thompson is probably his best finisher at the rim in his years.
Yeah, probably. Not, I mean, yeah, better than Haslam. But the thing to look at here is how they fill out the rest of the starting lineup and then how they fill out the rest of the roster, because they drafted Taylor Horton Tucker, and I think he's honestly going to get a lot of playing time, even as a second-round pick, because they're going to need wings, and he's a long, athletic wing that can play the 2 or the 3, handles the ball okay. And I think they're going to need younger guys on minimal contracts to fill out this roster. And so I don't know how deep the Lakers can go in the playoffs if that's their
They still
structure.
have Rajon Rondo, correct, on their roster.
I think he was a 1 year as well,
Okay.
because JaVale was a 1 year and Lance was a 1 year. And I think the old guys were 1 years, like Rondo as well.
Okay.
I still think the Lakers won.
Well-
I gotta say though, honestly, if the Pelicans aren't competing at a high level in a few years, it's got to be coaching, because I think they're going to do well. I think they're going to get a good enough amount of picks, and I mean, good lord, they're going into 2025 even at this point. But I look at their division; they're still going to have to compete. Paul's got a poster, so I use it as a cheat sheet in the studio. Look who they're going to compete with. They're still going to be competing with CP3 and James Harden, even though there's the reports that those two don't get along. They're still going to be on that team, and
Yeah, that train has left the station.
You don't
They've-
think s-
they
you
have
don't think-
done the best that they will do?
no, but they're still a playoff team.
They're a
I'm not
playoff
saying they're
team.
going to win anything, but they're you still have the Pelicans competing with them, and
I think the Mavericks
maybe the
are going
Spurs
to try to reload. Mavericks always try to reload when they have
the
money available.
The Mavericks are probably in a better position than the Pelicans are right now, with because I think Doncic is better than anyone that the Pelicans
Doncic
have.
and Porzingis.
But
yeah,
so let me ask you this, Paul. Do you think that because you think having Lonzo, having Josh Hart, Ingram, having these guys, you think the Pelicans got the better trade, got the better deal out of this? So do you think this is a playoff team
the Pelicans?
Yeah.
No.
in the
No,
future
no.
at all? You don't think so at all?
Maybe in 2022 when they have
I
another.
think that's the cycle.
when they have another top pick and Zion has
They
kind of
need
come
more-
into
They need
himself.
more shooting. This
We can't
lineup
say
they
who
have
won
doesn't have a
tonight.
lot of- doesn't have a lot of shooting.
If the Lakers win 2 of the next 3 titles, but
They won. That's what they-
yeah,
that's the
and
reason
so
they made the
Yeah.
trade.
exactly, and so we will not know. We
But
won't know.
That's the issue because it's literally the dichotomy of two different teams. Where you have one team that's trying to win now, wants to win
that's
now.
Why Toronto won that trade. Like, even if it ends up being
Everything
Kawhi,
worked.
even if
Everything worked.
even if Kawhi ends up leaving this summer, they won that trade.
They still won the
because
title.
they won
Yeah.
the title. That's
Right.
That's the goal. That's
They
why you
finally
make
got
the
over
They
the
deal.
hump.
rented him and they got it and they doubled down and
It's because they didn't
It
play
worked.
LeBron. They didn't
Oh
have
my
LeBron.
gosh.
Toe.
Kawhi's already shut down LeBron when he was even younger.
Okay.
Well,
All right.
we'll see in a few years who won this trade. Otherwise, there was the Hawks and Portland earlier today. Kent Bazemore was traded to Portland for Evan Turner, and I think this is a very good move for Portland because Bazemore is an athletic offensive guy that can produce for himself. He can kind of be more of an offensive leader of a second team more than Evan Turner. Evan Turner is a good ball handler for a bigger guy in a wing. But I see this as a win for both teams because Atlanta is trying to grab a lot of salary that they can dump next year after not really competing. And this pushes Portland to be a better all-around competitive team because Portland has maybe the best backcourt in the NBA next year with Clay out. But what else do they have? They need to fill out the rest of that roster.
As long as Nurkic comes back at full health and is playing the way he was playing before that injury, I think that's the reason why they didn't. I'm not saying they would have beat the Warriors, but they probably would have won 2 games with Nurkic
game.
with 1 or 2. Yeah, with Nurkic on that team. though.
Yeah, I hear you, but we'll see. So I think that would we can actually probably go out on a limb and say both teams got what they wanted, and they already know that they got what they wanted in that trade. That's a little more
Yeah.
straight up than this Lakers future mortgage.
I think another way that the Lakers win is they don't have to listen to LeVar Ball anymore. I think that's a win.
Who was saying my son will not be traded, and then was like, "Ha! This was our plan all along. We wanted to go to New Orleans." It's
yeah,
crazy,
I know, right? And at first he was like, "This is the worst mistake. They'll never win a championship again." And then it's
Yeah,
like, "Oh no, we wanted to go and everything." I'm like, he is by far the worst thing in the NBA.
now he's banned from
and-
ESPN.
And he's not
Good,
even.
he needed to be banned from TV.
And
Coward
to be
will
honest,
keep having him on.
No, after his whole thing with Christine Leahy, Coward said he'll never have him back on because the dude is disrespectful. He literally told that woman to stay in
your
her
lane.
lane. Like, come on. But I don't necessarily agree with what ESPN did because she said, let's move on to the next topic. And he said, I'd move anywhere with you or something. It was inappropriate, but I don't think it was like the worst thing that he could say. But I think they just want an excuse to keep him off TV.
Yeah, I understand that, and I wouldn't want him. I wouldn't. I mean, I think Lonzo's a great talent and has potential, but LeVar is too much, man. So that's
No, he's
that's
not.
too much.
He's not worth it.
All right, from trades to the draft.
To the draft we go.
Zion, number 1, saw it coming.
Not
Is
surprising.
he really a franchise changer, or as Dan Patrick calls him, the left-handed Blake Griffin?
Definitely, he's probably more skilled than Blake Griffin was as a rookie, in terms of he has a better jump shot. He doesn't have a great jump shot, but better than Blake Griffin didn't have any jump shot.
No, that's true.
Zion showed that he can shoot a little bit in college.
Yeah, I mean, I'm someone who was on the Zion train throughout all the times we were talking about the March Madness stuff, and yeah, I think Zion is a great talent, and I think he could be a very good franchise player for New Orleans. I think that I honestly think he'll move the needle for New Orleans a little bit. And, we just talked about it. I think after, a few years of him with the Pelicans, I think they're a legitimate team that can compete in their division. I do
If him
think
and
so.
Lonzo can develop a chemistry to where they can run pick and rolls and stuff of that nature. And obviously Lonzo's very good in transition, and Zion will be like that's where they're going to make their
Yeah.
points,
But
most
that's
of their
the thing.
points. So.
Is this Zion's team? Because
No,
to
it's
me,
not.
it's Drew
It's
Holiday's team.
and they said that it's not. It's not Zion's team.
But is he?
It will
I'm
become
going to.
Zion's team, I think.
I'm very interested in seeing how he starts acting as a leader now that he is in the NBA. Because even in college, I didn't really see him as a team leader. Like he's a guy that hustles and goes all out every play, and you see that, and that's great. But not a bring the guys together. Here's what we're doing, and here's what I see, and here's what we need to do based on that. I don't see I don't see Zion as a vocal floor general like he should be with the level of talent that he has, even though he's not a point guard.
Well,
That's
you
going to be
also-
something he has
You got to
to.
remember he's only 19 years old.
Right,
so-
but he's probably always been the best guy on the team he's been on.
well, yeah, because he didn't even go to a like he went to a normal high school. He didn't go to like Oak Hill or anything like that.
Right.
So he's been the best player on the court.
We'll see. I don't even know if they're are. Do you play him at small forward or power forward? Like I think there's a lot more questions around Zion for me.
I don't know. I think Zion will be fine. I think
his athleticism will allow him to play anywhere.
Yeah, I think
And I don't think that will be a problem as long as he's not playing center.
yeah, and I think I totally agree with that. I think some guys are just so good and like freaks of nature that no matter what they're gonna be successful.
Draymond Green's 6'8". He's just as tall, and he plays the 4. He plays the 5 even.
Yeah.
So, and he's not as athletic. So, I don't think that the size is necessarily a diminishing factor,
Right.
especially with that ungodly athleticism.
Yeah, for his size, it's crazy. I think he'll be fine. I think he'll fit in just fine.
Number 2, John Morant. I don't think you could have gone wrong with any of the first 3 picks. But if you're gonna draft John Morant, you got to decide what the future of Mike Conley is, and that's what they did. And they traded Mike Conley to a contender where everybody kind of wins the scenario
That definitely
again.
makes the Jazz a lot more formidable coming this season.
You're right, because Mike Conley's definitely an upgrade from Ricky Rubio. But for Morant, it's a guarantee from the franchise that you are our guy, and we are going to build around you, and we want to develop you.
I mean, even the coach came out and said that him and I'm looking at his name because I can remember it. Jaren Jackson. He said it's a dynamic duo. Like so, clearly they're gonna say this is our guy. He's our star. We're gonna build our team around him.
The
So
first team all rookie player from last season.
Right.
And number 4 overall pick.
Right, and
so.
I think that if out of the top 3 cities, the guy that Memphis wants is John Morant because he played college, kind of first year under the radar in Kentucky, at Murray State. He's maybe not the biggest bright lights New York guy like R.J. Barrett. From the second the ping pong balls fell, R.J. Barrett said, "I'm a Knick. I want to be a Knick. Let's do this. Let's make it work." And you saw his entrance to Madison Square Garden that they've already done, where he is all in as a Knick. And so I think, as much as the Knicks can, because they're one of the worst run franchises, I think all 3 of the top 3 teams won. I mean, obviously it's not getting Zion, but number 2 and 3 both got the guy that fits their team style and their city style.
yeah, they all fell perfectly into place.
Mm-hmm.
I think of the 3, I think Ja probably will be the most successful right away, just because of how they're, like I said, like we just said, they're building around him, and he already has a teammate where they're like, we want these guys to work in tandem.
He'll be in a situation where it's okay. Well, ball's in your hands every play, and we're not going to win tonight, so just go out there and run it up. And it's the D'Angelo Russell type of player evolution, where it's just like we suck, your teammates know we suck, and they know you're pretty good, so just go ball out. And now he's an all-star. So I think you're right. John Morant is going to have probably, I don't know, it's hard to say he's going to have the most on-court impact right away because it's Zion Williamson. But RJ's definitely going to have to develop and change some things about his game at the NBA level to be elite.
We'll
He's gonna
get
need to be a better shooter.
Yeah,
Right.
and we'll get to the Knicks in a little bit. Unless they can get somebody like KD, someone to like mentor him. But if they get KD, it's gonna have to be from the bench because he's not playing this year. So we'll see.
Well, number 4 pick DeAndre Hunter, technically drafted by the Lakers, but New Orleans will be getting him, and then New Orleans trades the rights to him to the Hawks, so he's going to end up a Hawk.
Can I just say, like,
He wore a Lakers hat, though. That's what you got to do.
This is such a weird thing because what I'm used to seeing in like in the NFL draft, you trade picks right away. Like you trade picks, you don't pick and then trade, and they obviously trade picks. But that's such a weird thing to be like, we're picking this guy, but we're gonna give him to you, so then you can give them to Atlanta.
I
it's weird.
believe that it would be like that if the NBA had free agency first, like the NFL.
Yeah, they can't trade. There's a dead period, so they can't trade. They
Because,
can't make official trades.
Salaries are all weird and
Yeah.
nothing
they
matches
can't-
up.
That's
and
the
so
only reason why
It's
it's
the
like
end of
that.
July.
There
isn't it?
isn't there.
They have agreed to the terms, so they
It's a
can't like
handshake
back
deal.
out. Yeah.
It's a handshake deal. But they've signed the paperwork, but they're not faxing it to the NBA, even though the NBA knows it's a done deal. Which there's actually a movement within the front office areas of the NBA that they want to flip flop free agency in the draft because doesn't it make it easier to draft people based on potential if you've filled out the veterans on your roster already?
Yeah.
And so that is kind of something that they want to do, which I agree with. I think it would be better for the NBA.
So you wouldn't have all this stuff where you're like, well, we'll take him and then we'll give him to you, and then
Yeah,
you don't have all these people trading.
There would be
hands with
less
it.
of that. There would be less of, I mean, we know the Pelicans would have Zion, even though the draft hasn't happened. And so
Yeah.
for free agency, the Knicks are wheeling and dealing maybe a little more. But, that's something for dumb rules to change. We can do a podcast on that. Beyond that, any guys that stick out to you? Number 5 next actually did for me right away. Darius Garland, a big potential guy for a point guard, possibly best point guard in the draft, but injury issue in college. And does this mean they're already giving up on Colin Sexton? That was the thing that came to my mind. Because you drafted point guard number 6 last year. What's the goal here?
Stockpile best talent you can. We have nothing. You might as well get what you can.
I hear that. If you're a bottom 5 team, that's
They don't have
definitely
anything,
understandable.
so-
Well, that's
Yeah,
what the
Phil-
Magic did when they had Elfrid Payton, and then just like, what do we do with this guy?
It just fell out your bench, really.
Next, number 9, one of Brandon's favorite players in the draft, Rui Hachimura.
I was really hoping he was going to come to the
What a
Heat,
name,
honestly.
But he's the first Japanese-born player ever drafted into the NBA, which is really cool. This is becoming the global sport on the rise. More than soccer, exponential growth is happening in basketball internationally. So I think that's really cool. And then number 10, Cam Reddish, which was kind of par for the course. Like every mock had him going about 10th, and I thought that was a little high, but here he is.
Yeah, I mean, he's if he can show that he can shoot, which it's kind of the same thing with Tyler Hero at 13, where they look like they can shoot, but they didn't shoot great in college. As in, everyone's drafting them on their shot form and what they think their shot making skills are going to be, but they didn't shoot like they think Tyler Hero shot 35% from 3 in college. So, but everyone was talking all year that he's the best shooter in college basketball. So we'll see how that stuff goes. But
he's still, I mean, he still has great size. I mean, he's 6'8", and he's got a huge wingspan. So I think he still can, be useful. But I don't know with you said about him not being a big shot guy, which is something they might need. So I don't know. I didn't expect to agree with Brandon as much as I have tonight, but I trust him.
One thing that kind of like the first big kind of shock of the night at 11, Timberwolves. I want to know who picked the player. Because in a situation like this where they're trading the player, you don't know if the Suns said draft this guy for us or if the Timberwolves said we'll send you this guy that we just drafted. And I want to know because that was kind of a big reach on Cameron Johnson, who was projected like 30th on ESPN's board.
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I do like Jarrett Culver going to Minnesota, though. Everyone was comparing. It's funny because everyone was comparing him to Jimmy Butler, and Minnesota picks up the guy that they wanted, but didn't want them.
Right. Could this be the beginning of the end of the Andrew Wiggins era? If they're getting guys like that?
I think so.
I think he has one of the worst contracts in the NBA. He has not panned out based on with the money they're giving him, and that's kind of holding him back. But past that, past the Heat taking Tyler Hero at 14 Celtics, Romeo Langford, who was a very high recruit coming out of his high school class. Bouncy guy, attacking, athletic kind of dunker. Will need to really develop his game, but I see him making the rotation just because I have no idea what the Celtics rotation is going to look like at this point. But he will not be playing for the main Red Claws. He will be on the Celtics roster. Not what I can say for some of the other guys that they took.
Oh yeah, I'm sure we'll get to that.
But I did want to just real quick. Number 18, the Pacers took Goga Bitadze. I don't know the big man from Europe who had that crazy photo of him
Next to Zion.
him next to Zion at their interviews, their press time. And then the comments under it of Dwayne Wade and Draymond Green saying, "Put this in your locker. Use this as fuel. Never forget this." It's pretty cool, and I actually think that he's gonna last, and I hope that that's part of some of it. I'm really rooting for him, like just based on that photo. I think that's cool. But then at 22nd, the Celtics draft Grant Williams, big man from Tennessee, from the overachieving Volunteers, which
Tennessee.
I'm excited about. He's already saying all the right things, respecting Celtics greats. He was like, I was going to wear 5, but, that's Kevin Garnett. But now there's rumors that 11 might be available for him to wear right away.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. But he's cool, and I think he's going to be playing on the team as well as not on the main Red Claws because he seems like a high-energy guy. Not like Ty Jerome. Ty Jerome, the Celtics drafted 4 guys. And right down the list here, Ty Jerome will be playing for the main Red Claws. He'll be balling out in the G League.
Did the Suns draft at all? this
The
year?
Suns just traded and took other people's draft picks.
Yeah, it's like they hardly. I'm look at the draft picks, and none. I see maybe one, and I think that was round 2. I don't think I see him at all in round 1, and it's like that. I don't know who's that tweeted that, but you retweeted it, and I thought it was funny. It was the Tom Brady. We're still here. Next draft, it's the Phoenix Suns. I thought that was so funny because they just traded for picks. They didn't really pick anybody, which is weird. But other than KZ Okpala,
yeah.
I don't know how to pronounce.
He's going to the Heat though. He's traded.
Exactly, he's going to the Heat. They're already in talks to trade him.
The final pick, actually, before we jump down there, the final pick of the first round, I think, has high potential. I like Kevin Porter Jr. He's got some highlights, and he's one of those guys that was just like had mixtapes, and then you're like, what happened to him in college? And so we'll see. And I hope
mixtapes.
like a baller mixtape.
Okay. Also, quick reminds me of the mixtape. Did you see Damian Lillard's diss track?
Yeah, and then Bagley's already come out with a response track.
Jeez.
They're
This is
already.
what I'm talking.
It's the league that doesn't stop.
I'm telling you. The last few years, I've started to realize how silly and outrageous the NBA is, and I kind of in love with it. How crazy this
NBA
league
and
is.
Twitter were a match made in heaven, and it's just created this
Well,
perfect environment of drama in
especially
sports.
now.
It's like if the WWE was a real sport.
Especially now because like all the power is in the players now, and they're just going everywhere with it. It's
Right.
amazing.
Second round, few players to talk about here. I really think, and I think Brandon, you'll agree with me here. Carson Edwards is a second round draft pick because of his size.
Yeah, I think he's definitely a guy who can come in and contribute though.
Ball out
because
right away.
He can score, and I mean, you saw what he did in the NCAA tournament. He can score. He looks like a definite come off the bench leader.
He's a spark plug. He's a Lou Williams. He's an IT kind of guy.
Definitely.
So you're excited because they traded him to the Celtics. So you're in a very happy situation.
Yeah, I think that he's actually, somebody he's one of those, and it seems like the Celtics, all 4 of their draft picks are like this, just guys that are not attention seekers. And I wonder why that is based on an offseason problem they might be having. But
just skip to that because clearly you're chomping at the bit.
Danny Ainge said today that he's happy to have people that are happy to be there, and he took a few serious shots at Kyrie. But he said just last fall, I'll sign here long term if you'll have me. And it's just now he's ghosted the Celtics. But Carson Edwards is a guy that's going to come in. He's going to be in the gym late. He's putting up shots, and he's going to do the extra work to hustle and give you the best 6 minutes in a game that he can. And so that's why I was very excited that the Celtics got him.
And he's a Big Ten guy. So go Big Ten.
Enough of that. But any other second-round picks that you guys saw? Because I have a few here. There's Bol, obviously, who fell to 44th. Brandon, would you have wanted the Heat to keep him?
I mean, at the pick that he was, yeah, that'd be a nice guy to get in the second round, late second round. The guy that's 7'2" can shoot.
At that point, though,
Looks like a guy who was argued to be first lottery
Top 5.
pick talent, but concerns with the injury he had and the size that he is because he has no muscle. He looks like a twig.
right, he looks like his dad.
Which he does, and he was all right in the NBA. So, I mean, definitely a guy that, especially at the 44th pick, is definitely a good pick for the Nuggets to have.
Oh, and especially with where the Nuggets are at with their roster,
And
yeah.
they have Nikola Jokic, who was also a late second round pick, who's a big man who can shoot. I'm not saying Bol is that guy, but
I gotta say he wins.
Similar situation coming into the league.
He wins for name.
Not Admiral Schofield.
That's a good one too. But Bol, that's amazing.
I saw a tweet that after his playing career, he needs to open up a bowling alley
Bol.
that serves Mexicans, so it can be Bol's bowling bowl.
And then he needs to
It's
get
like Taco
sponsored.
Bowl.
And then he needs to make so much money that he could sponsor a college bowl game. So it says the Bol.
It's the bowl.
I'd watch it.
He's one of those guys that you just want to stay in the sport. It's like a Deuce Gruden thing. Like it's not even what he does; it's what it's like a mythology thing. It's the Chuck Norris effect.
But how do you get named? How do you? That's like me getting named William Williams.
Well, he has another son that has a different first name. Like Manute had an older son that he gave like a different first name to, but his last name is Bull. But I don't know why he's Bull.
It's a great name though.
You gotta live up to it. That's for
So
sure.
You can't forget it.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's not
Yeah.
as generic as
Say it twice. You
like-
know.
It's not as generic as like Jake Williams. It's a Bol is gonna stand out.
And then at 46, the Magic drafted and traded Talen Horton-Tucker to the Lakers. And like I said earlier, I think this is good for the Lakers. I think he's going to get playing time as much as he didn't. He got benched for Lindell Wigginton, who was the Big 12 Sixth Man of the Year. But Talen Horton-Tucker was not on the court in serious situations late in the year. And so this is a big potential pick because he had the second best measurables at the Combine behind Taco Fall. He had the longest wingspan comparative to your body or whatever behind Fall.
Yeah.
And so we'll see how it goes. I think he definitely needs to pick up the outside shooting and see what he can do. Further down the list, another Cyclone. Oh, Mariel Shayok. Woo woo, drafted by the Sixers. He'll play in their summer league game and sign overseas. But good for him. That's really cool. I wasn't expecting
he's
that.
trusting the process.
What process, dude? They're gonna lose some free agents and be worse off than before. We'll talk about that. We'll get there. We'll get there. There were one other guy, I'm really surprised Lindell Wigginton is not got drafted. He showed maturity this year. He played well. Big 12 Sixth Man of the Year. He came off the bench and understood his role. He's going to be playing for Toronto's Summer League team, which is cool because he's Canadian. But I really thought he would get drafted in the late second round. I think that he's going to work hard and stick with the team, and we'll be hearing from him again. And then Taco Fall on the Celtics Summer League team.
What a name.
It's a little surprising Taco Fall's not drafted on the fact that he's 7'6".
Wasn't drafted at all.
Yeah, it's a little surprising to me because when I watched him,
If I have 50 through 60, I would use him on
I
Taco
would have
Fall.
drafted him too because I thought when I watched him in the limited times I watched him, he shows enough athleticism to be able to defend at the NBA level. I think at his size.
The Duke game alone
Yeah,
was enough for me.
Because he's
Right.
7'6", so he literally takes up the whole paint.
Better than international guys that come in at his age and his size. He knows what he's doing. He has basketball instincts, and
Yeah.
that's what I think that you're getting to. That he's more polished at this age.
And he looks like he can move around the court a little bit better. He showed some offensive moves, not necessarily skill, but Like he has some footwork that he's obviously been working on that he can continue to work on at the NBA level. I'm just surprised nobody took a chance on a
Yeah.
guy that's 7'6".
Yeah,
I
that
agree.
big and the way
Could be a great find for the Celtics.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Especially because Grant Williams is only like 6'9". So, all right, now here's the
I
part
hope
that's
the
going to make
Celtics
us.
fail. Just this.
The Celtics, we already have failed. Did you witness this year at all?
that was brutal.
I'll be honest. I'll spread
4 to
the love. I'll
1.
spread the hate too. But okay, here's where we look stupid, but it's going to be fun.
Oh, the free agency.
We're going to
huh?
pick the free agents. Yeah, here we go. Big free agents first. You know, we can start off with Kevin Durant.
Which I gotta say, the audacity of the Golden State Warriors to think that they can max both KD and Clay is just.
Oh, that's media talk.
Come on, you really think? I know. Yeah, it's got to be lip service. There's no way you can max both those guys.
They can though. They technically can.
They're not going to though.
I'm not saying that they're
KD's
going.
gone.
But
But
for their
they can.
long-term success, it's not ideal for what they probably want to do.
It's not cost effective.
Yeah.
Because if they max those two guys, then they either can't sign Draymond Green, or they max Draymond Green as well, and now they have literally passed the salary cap on their 4 guys.
Right.
Which, honestly, I mean, if they could do that, yeah, there's no stopping them anymore. But
Well, I think they showed that even with those 4 guys, you can't just win with just 4 guys and a bunch of.
You need
Yeah.
a fifth. in
You need some
basketball,
more
yes.
guys. You
Yeah,
need
they-
some. You need 7.
good call.
You need 7 legitimate NBA players
Right? Yeah.
No,
that's
to win a
why-
championship at least.
We've seen over the past. You can look back through the NBA until the early 2000s, and with above average coaching, you win an NBA championship with 2.5 superstars and a great 8-man rotation. 8 men
You have
win
to
you an
have
NBA
it,
championship.
You have to have at least 7
That-
guys.
You can count up Toronto. It's 8 guys because they had Siakam, Gasol, Van Vliet, Kawhi, Lowry, Green,
Yeah,
Powell.
Sandy Green.
Powell a little bit, and Ibaka. That's it right
That's
there.
exactly why they won because we talked
you
about it
know,
before.
you know your condensed rotation.
The Warriors just didn't have the depth, and yeah, that's what happens when you spend all this money on superstars. I think KD's gone. I think even though he came back in Game 5, I think like we talked about already on this show that we thought it was for him more than anything else.
A few teams have backed off because of the injury.
Yeah, but
Philadelphia, who apparently thought they had a chance.
wasn't it? Who was it that said they would pay his player option? That said that they would pay the $20 million. Was it the Knicks?
Probably.
I can't
The
remember.
Knicks, the Knicks
I can't
offer
remember
him
who
a max.
it was, but they said they'd pay the money to have him just on the bench. But just based on him not being on the bench, being in the locker room, all that stuff, I thought he was already checked out and ready to go.
Especially with the Draymond Green incident from the November
Yeah.
when he said like you're gonna be gone anyway, just like stop, like who cares? We don't even listen to you.
Yeah, so
Not in those words.
that might be a direct quote. Draymond probably is not. Does not seem like a smart person.
There's not a direct quote. Well, let's say it. I think he's going to the Nets, and I think it's a package deal with Kyrie.
I still think it's the Knicks, honestly.
I have Kevin Durant going to the Nets as well.
You think it's the Nets?
The
I
Nets,
think
really.
the Nets
Yeah.
have become the betting odds favorite
I think so too.
because
I think
Kyrie
Kyrie's
wants
gonna
to go
show
to the
up.
Nets.
Yeah. I
Kyrie,
think-
Kyrie
I-
wants
I
to
have
go to
the
the
same
Nets.
thing. Yeah, I think.
I mean,
I
who
do
wouldn't want to
think
play
that
for
is what's gonna
Jay-Z?
happen.
Yeah, Jay-Z or James Dolan. Do you want Jay-Z or
the
what?
dude
Jay in the
cares only
straight
about his-
was it JD in the straight shots?
This is
Is his
terrible
band's
ban-
name?
Did you see that got fined?
Yeah, they
by
got
the
fined
league?
because they kept they banned media from a
It
certain
was
outlet.
one, the New York Daily News. That was it.
Yeah.
They banned the New York Daily News, and which is you can't do that. As a
I think it was
journalist,
well, the
can't
fine
do
was
that.
only like,
Constitution.
Just don't talk to the guy.
yeah, freedom of press.
Yeah, just don't talk
was
to the
it?
guy.
It was only like 50,000 or something like that. 500,000 maybe. 50.
Pocket
50,000,
change. It's
yeah.
pocket
Yeah, I was
change.
just saying that's nothing for this franchise. But as horribly mismanaged as it is, now I think you guys are swaying me because
Because the Nets are not mismanaged. They're still in the city,
no,
and there is no shadow of anything of a crazy manager of past greats and glory.
And here's the thing: if they get You said it was Kyrie, right? You
Yeah,
said-
I think Durant and Kyrie are both.
Then
going
if that
for the
happens,
Nets.
then I think D'Angelo would stay. If that would be the case, D'Angelo Russell. would
Skirt,
stay.
skirt, pump the brakes.
We'll get there.
So wrong, but we'll get there.
Hey, I'm the #1 sports analyst. all
Skirt,
right?
skirt. Well, let's get through the summer, dude, because the off court predictions are where I excel. Like saying who the next Oklahoma quarterback will be,
Oh boy.
and
Oh, by the way, you didn't even tweet that,
things,
so it's not even
things
real.
of that nature. No, okay. So where do you have Kyrie? Because I think Brandon and I agree that Kyrie and Kevin Durant are
I
both in
think-
Brooklyn.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here. I'm gonna go crazy with this one, and you're gonna laugh at me, but I think it's gonna work. I think Kyrie has patched things up with LeBron, and he wants to play with AD, and he goes to the Lakers.
I do see that as a possibility, but I've heard that Kemba Walker is their point guard of choice in free agency. But I definitely understand because I think Kyrie is a better fit
It's a good fit.
alongside LeBron.
Definitely a good fit, and he has
And they
and he
play
has
together,
and he
I-
has chemistry with LeBron.
I honestly
So-
think that those two have patched things up, and I don't think they're mad at each other anymore. And they've played together. They've won a championship together.
No, Kyrie realized how hard it is to get along with everybody when you're the man and to be the man in the city for a team
Woo!
with expectation.
Ric Flair.
It didn't work.
To be the man, you got to beat the man. Ric Flair.
In order for that to happen, the Lakers will have to make another deal. So it'll be up to another team to allow that to happen.
I'm just saying.
both those guys really.
I think
Kemba will probably get the same type of deal. That
I
Kyrie
think
would get.
Kemba's going to sign for under the max to sign with a competitor. I think Kemba wants to sign with a contender, and he will sign for under the max. And I'm kind of excited to see where he goes.
telling
'Cause
you.
Unless he goes to the Knicks, the Knicks obviously I would take the max. He'll take the max.
I'm sticking with it. I think Kyrie's going to the Lakers.
We'll
I
see.
stand by it.
We'll see.
I think it's a little. I think the Nets. I think your prediction of the Nets is a little bit more out there than mine. I solely did this because of the fact that they got Anthony Davis and that that Kyrie's played with LeBron before and they've had chemistry.
Well, good thing this is all recorded.
Speculation.
Yeah.
Recorded for everybody to hear.
All right, so Kevin's teammate. We're moving around here, but these top four are the most impactful, in my opinion. Klay Thompson,
Klay Thompson's
he's staying in Golden State.
Gold State.
He's staying in Golden State. He's rehabbing, but on a long-term contract, and he
I-
will be back.
He's getting his money.
He's getting
I
his
know that
money
it-
because it's his time. He deserves
He
it.
earned it.
Absolutely.
And I know that his dad responded, not him, but his dad was like, "He ain't going anywhere," kind of thing. But the response that he got after he tore his ACL, like they haven't confirmed that, right?
Oh, yeah, he
tore
did.
it.
Oh, he
It's
did. He
gone,
definitely
yeah.
did. I can't remember if they confirmed
It's
it or not.
gone.
The response that the Oracle gave him when he came back out to do those free throws, I think it wasn't just because of him just being competitive. I also think it was like legitimate compassion. And I think the Golden State fans really love this guy and really care about him.
Well,
and
he
I
came-
think this is his team.
He came
too.
out to shoot the free throws because they didn't know if he'd torn his ACL, and if he didn't shoot the free throws, he couldn't come back into the game at all at any point.
No, I know that. Yeah, and he said that to Steve Kerr. Give me 2 minutes rest. And
So I think it's less of
He
a.
didn't even want to come off the court after those free throws. He wanted to stay out there.
yeah, he's like, just let me sit on the bench for 2 minutes. I'll
and
be
then
fine."
and then of course the second he walks off the court, Lakers Twitter explodes with Kobe played on a torn Achilles. He shot his free throws and he walked off the court. That's what Kobe did.
He didn't
too.
even go back on defense.
Right. Yeah.
Like Clay did.
No, but I think that moment was like legitimate, like love and compassion for that guy. And I think this is I think Steph and Clay are the two pillars that will always be with the Warriors, I think.
I agree. I agree with that. So we all have Clay staying. The other big one, Kawhi Leonard, the king in the north, the kingmaker. He decides.
The board man.
He decides what is going to happen the next year in the NBA. Because if he stays, they're the favorites for the East.
And
If he
just
leaves, is he the
denied-
favorite for the West?
And I mean, he just denied his player option. So
He did. He just denied his player option, but that makes it more accessible for a long-term contract in Toronto.
Well, you and I we talked about this off air about this, so we know how we feel. What do you think, Brandon?
I have Kawhi staying in Toronto, but I have it on a short-term deal,
Like a one and
like a 1-and-1, where he's gonna see what they can do. He's gonna run it back with them, and if they don't win, which they probably won't win because it's hard to repeat. Moves on from there.
I really like that, and I'm going to compound on that a little bit because I have him staying for the Raptors, and Jake, you do
Yeah.
as well. But I really hear what you're saying, and somebody that might shoot and miss this summer is the Clippers. And if Kawhi signs a 1-1, doesn't win another championship, that's the team he wants to go to. If it's not, everybody's saying that if it's not the Raptors, it's the Clippers. It's a 2-team race.
Well, yeah, he himself said that. He said it was.
He's from
Toronto
LA, but
or
he's
LA.
not messing with. He's not messing with LeBron.
Well, he doesn't want to be. He wants to be the guy. He doesn't want to be the third guy.
and he has.
And he knows that he
has
can win
earned-
as the guy. Yeah,
he has earned every right to say
Exactly.
he is the guy. He could be the guy on any team.
He's
he's
the dynasty
he's
killer.
been the guy on. He's been, I guess maybe not the guy in San Antonio when they won, but he was the guy in San Antonio on some very very good teams.
Right.
That's
He has the highest winning percentage of regular season in the history of the NBA, minimum 500 games. He's number one. He's higher than Michael. He's higher than Bird. He's higher than Magic. He's won the most. It's like 7.65 is his regular season winning percentage. Kawhi's won the most regular season games percentage wise of all time.
and he's only the third player next to LeBron to have a Finals MVP with two different teams.
Only one in both conferences. He's the only person to do it in
Yeah.
both conferences.
And like I said, he's the board man. He's the dynasty killer.
he is the board man. The board man got paid, and the board man's going to get paid again.
That was the great shirt. Great shirt.
Yeah.
Did you see the fake Kawhi signing autographs and stuff?
Yes, I did see that.
Why
I
would
saw
you get an
fake
I can
Kawhi.
understand a selfie, but why get an autograph with the fake Kawhi? Like that doesn't make sense.
Because you
to
don't
me.
know he's a fake Kawhi.
What are people really that stupid? He would obviously be with the team on the float thing. Like people are dumb.
All right, well,
Well, they're Canadian. what do
they're
you expect?
Canadian. Yeah, they think he's as nice as they are. Number 5, now we're kind of we're kind of going into the next tier here of stars, not superstars, but all stars.
Mhm.
And Jimmy Butler, he's gonna change the franchise because I don't think he's staying.
Based on what he did with the Wolves, I understand that too. Where
I think he's got the man complex.
he definitely does because he had that temper tantrum and with the Wolves, and then he goes and I don't think he
He
gelled.
stole Cat's girlfriend and then emasculates everyone in practice, flexes on him, and goes and tells ESPN that nobody can touch him.
and says they need me. I'm the only thing they've got, and yeah. And then
He was right. I saw the Wolves play without him in the preseason.
Yeah.
And they got stomped.
Yeah, we, we in Des Moines we have the affiliate for the Wolves, so we know all too much about how the Wolves play.
Yeah, we got our ears to the Wolves pipeline.
The farm team. I definitely think he goes somewhere else because you're right. He has the man complex, and I don't think he really gelled well with Joel Embiid. So
The writing's on the wall that they want it to be Ben's team.
yeah,
I mean, right? They want it to be Ben's team, but that's only if Ben is like an Magic Johnson level player. Otherwise, what do you do with this team?
Well, where do you think Jimmy Butler goes?
I want to hear Brandon first.
I got him going to Miami.
Yeah, dude, I got him going to Miami. Are you serious? I knew it. I got him going to either Miami or the Clippers because I think if the Clippers can't get Kawhi, they still need to fill a need at the wing. And I think they're going to go after both Philly wings, him and Tobias Harris. But I think Jimmy goes.
The Heat wanted to trade for him when he was leaving Minnesota. It obviously didn't happen. They need something.
He's a Miami style guy, personality wise. I see
hope-
Jimmy Butler on a beach with shades and no
I hope
shirt.
I hope they are able to sign Jimmy Butler, and I hope they're able to trade Hassan Whiteside.
Well, somebody just turned him down for that today. What was that deal I saw today? That they were in talks for Hassan Whiteside to somebody.
I hope they get rid of him. Man, that was the worst that might be the worst contract in NBA history.
Stop. You know, Chris Paul is going to be like 38 and make $45 million.
Hassan Whiteside doesn't even play in the fourth quarter, and he makes almost $30 million a year.
John Wall
Because
is
he
still worse.
cannot.
John Wall and Chris
At least-
Paul are worse than anybody.
At least John Wall can actually score. At least
Okay.
they actually are
At least John Wall
players.
plays both ends.
They can actually play on the court. Hassan Whiteside literally doesn't even get on the court.
Well, we found the trigger.
Yeah.
It's Hassan Whiteside. But I really think that there's a possibility that he ends up in Miami because Miami is not a build through the draft. Miami is a free agency and be ready to compete kind of team. That's a Pat Riley style. Pat Riley is not a rebuild kind of guy. He's a I got these
Win
rings and let's
now.
go win championships kind of guy. So I see him going there, and I think if he goes there, I do think they find a way to move Whiteside. Maybe not for dollar.
No, that's okay. It doesn't.
It's
Just
like,
get rid
it's
of
like, nah,
him.
ship him out, bro. He's
Yeah,
gone.
Get rid of him.
I was say I hope so. Brandon might rip his hair out.
But that's
I
really
have
cool.
no idea where Jimmy Butler would go. I just to hop on the bandwagon because Brandon seems very passionate about it. So I'll say he'll go to the Heat as well.
I think the Heat are a possibility.
I would
because
say Clippers though, because
that was my other choice.
I do
Clippers are
like-
a good match.
I
as
do
well.
like your take because I think
He'd
you know
be
what?
the man.
No,
big city.
I'll be different. I'll say he'll go to the Clippers because I don't think they're gonna get Kawhi. So I think they're gonna go after Jimmy, and much like Miami, LA seems like a great town for Jimmy. Like I feel like he'd fit in there too.
I would say as of today, the Clippers have the better base roster to compete going forward than Miami.
You're hot on
Miami-
the, You've been
Miami
hot
has-
on the Clippers.
Miami
Oh, I
has-
like the Clippers right
Miami
now. Yeah,
has
Clippers are built.
has very good young talent, but there's still young talent that really hasn't worked with. We're seeing any. They are the most. That's what's annoying about that Miami Heat. They get the 13th pick in the draft every single year.
Every year,
I
but
think they've
no,
had the
they're in
13th
no
pick in the
man's
draft for like
land.
4 years in a row.
It's the NBA
And-
no man's
Yeah,
land.
and they're not good enough to even make the playoffs, and they're not bad enough to get the number 1 pick or get a top 5 pick. They're just stuck right in the middle, and so they can't get any better.
Yeah.
They get drafted a bunch of role players.
And so that's why it is kind of a swing and a miss thing when you depend on free agency, but it does make it more likely that you can go from worst to first. And so I think that they have a serious chance because if they can jump on Jimmy Butler early, maybe you can get one of these guards because there's a guard further down this list that we're going to talk about that I think we're going to have some big disagreements on. And I think maybe he could end up in South Beach too. Next, Chris Middleton. I think he's staying in Milwaukee. I think he's going to work out something long term.
Right.
They like him. He likes them. It's a good fit.
Yeah.
I also have him in Milwaukee. Yeah.
Milwaukee. Good. Jake? Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Cool. Nikola Vucevic.
What a name.
Oh, that's nothing. We got
Bol.
we got Bojan or Bojan
Bojan.
Bojanovic. Further on
Bojan.
those. But Nikola, I think he goes somewhere else.
What you got?
I had it and I changed it because I had him going to the Nuggets because I think the Nuggets are going to move on from Paul Millsap and try a different type of big man for their style where maybe they can run 4 around one big guy. But I got a different guy going to the Blazers. So I think he might actually just stay and take some money.
Yeah, I put Magic. I put Orlando. I think he'll stay in Orlando. They just made the playoffs. I mean, obviously they were under 500,
But speaking as a Heat fan, the 8th seed means nothing.
no.
That is still the no man's land.
Yeah, the Miami made the 8th seed. I think 2 or 3 years ago. So yeah, we got the 15th pick this time instead of the 13th pick.
Right, yeah.
Not any better. And
Jake?
being swept in the first round doesn't make it any better.
No, not at all.
I was thinking I'm gonna go. Why not the Celtics? Why wouldn't the Celtics sign him?
I've heard that. That's been on Twitter.
Because they're pursuing him.
Celtics are looking at a few different big men, which I would actually grab the rest of Steven Adams' deal instead of Vucevic. But
Big contract.
I
it's a big
think-
contract, but it's 2 years instead of 4. For
I think the
Vucevic.
Celtics should take him. I think he should go to the Celtics.
I people are saying that on my Twitter. I don't necessarily agree. I don't think he would. I
No.
don't think he would necessarily fit. I have a different guy on here.
You wouldn't want him as
Um,
a Celtics fan. You
It's
wouldn't
a
want him?
money thing. Gordon
Yeah,
Hayward's
yeah.
contract does not reflect the player, and so every time you talk about the Celtics and the money that they have available, which they're going to have about $30 million, assuming Horford and Kyrie leave, Celtics are going to have about $30 million available. But you really have to temper that with Hayward's contract is really bad for the type of player that he is now post injury. He's grossly overpaid, which nothing against him. It's just how athletic and his play style now. But I think Vucevic is probably going to stay in Orlando. And I'll tell you who I got going to the Celtics next. Oh, this is going to be a fun one. It's D'Lo.
Boy.
Where is D'Angelo Russell going? Because, Brandon, you and I have Kyrie and Kevin Durant going to the Nets. And I think that pushes out D'Angelo Russell. And I think that the Nets are happy to let him walk, even as a restricted free agent. Where does he go?
Here's what I put. Because he's a restricted free agent, I have him signing with the Brooklyn Nets and being traded to Indiana. to go to the
Bold.
Pacers.
That's a bold move, Cotton.
Bold strategy.
Bold strategy, Cotton. I like
Play
it.
with Victor Oladipo, DeMontis Sabonis, Miles Turner, an up-and-coming team in the East. That they were the 4 seed, but that's without Victor Oladipo. They didn't have their star player anymore, so now they get another guard to work with
Right.
work with Oladipo, who's an all-star. Both are all-stars, so I think that could be a good fit for D'Angelo Russell as well.
I think that he might be on the Knicks or the Miami Heat.
I was gonna say the Knicks. That's what my.
It's kind of awkward staying in the city, though, right? Have we
Yeah,
ever
a
seen
little
that
bit.
happen with that level of a star, where he's kind of pushed aside for the second time early in his career?
Isn't one of them technically in New Jersey?
Well, the Nets were, but now they're
Oh,
all
they're in
their
Brooklyn.
facilities are in Brooklyn now.
Yeah, I think he's gonna go to the Knicks, and it's gonna make it super awkward.
I see him being like a handshake goodbye from the Nets, saying like, "Hey, we're just not going to match anything," and then other teams scoop him up for less because they know that they're not going to match. Because statistically, restricted free agents get more money than unrestricted free agents of the same talent level because you have to overpay to take them from their team.
Yeah.
So depending on who the Nets get, and they're okay with him walking, he's actually going to take a lot less money, and there will be more suitors for him. Which maybe he ends up in Boston.
Or should I stick with my original decision? Because you pretty much called me an idiot when I said stay with the Nets. Because if they could get Kyrie and KD, why wouldn't he want to stay? But
Not a chance. Not a chance.
yeah,
those two
you're
play
right.
well
It's not
together.
a chance because neither of those guys are going.
If-
Kyrie's going to LA,
If Kyrie is on the Nets, there's not a chance that they have D'Angelo Russell.
if that's the case, then D'Angelo I think goes to the Knicks.
to the Knicks.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we're all wrong about what's gonna happen with
Yeah.
him. He's one of those enigmas.
It's
Who
where
hard,
I'm
knows?
it's
like, I
hard
have
because
no
of
idea.
it's hard because of the restricted free agent.
Well, it's hard because his decision is going to be in part chosen by where another player goes. No matter what, I think D'Angelo
Well,
Russell.
it's not even that. It's the fact that literally his team controls him, and they can do whatever they want with him.
They can match it and trade.
If they match
yeah.
him, they can trade him and get stuff back for him to help
Right.
build their team.
What about, just popped into my head, if some free agents do leave and he goes to Philadelphia, they need guard play. And I think that could actually work. We'll see. D'Angelo Russell's going to be an interesting seeing where he ends up. Kemba Walker's next, though, and I think that's easy. I think he's going to the Lakers. I think he's gonna.
Really?
I think he's gonna say whatever, dude. If it's not the max, it's not the max. But I'm here and I'm ready to play. I think he's ready to play.
I think the Hornets said that he was the top priority this offseason.
What else are they supposed to say? He's their best player.
I think they're gonna keep him. I think they're gonna offer him a lot of money to stay.
They can offer him the most.
They can offer him $221 million.
I don't know if they'll offer him that much.
Supermax,
they will. They will. I would bet money right now they will offer him the supermax. But if you could, would you take 220 to stay in Charlotte and not make the playoffs, or would you take 180 to go to LA? $180 million to go to LA and play the Lakers.
They can't give him.
No, they
180,
can't. But somebody could.
No, that's how they can only. I bet.
170. Okay,
I bet the max.
50 million
I
less.
bet
So
the
the
max
max
is
that they
like
can offer is like
140.
170
I
something,
think it's like
probably.
140
Okay.
on 4 years.
Whatever it is, though, it's still far and away over $100 million.
If you put it like that,
It's a lot of money he'd be giving up. It is a lot of money, and so
Yeah.
that comes into consideration.
I think
It is, but it's a lot of money for happiness and competition.
Yeah, I mean,
and
if say
some guys aren't happy. Some guys aren't
say-
Carmelo, and they don't want to sit in a crappy city with a bad team for the money.
say that it's my scenario. Even take that out. Say that Kyrie doesn't show up. Say it's just the situation is now. You have AD and you have LeBron. I could see how that would be very enticing to be like go and play with these guys. Even if Kyrie were there, imagine playing with that. But I don't know if you would take the pay cut. I don't know. And I understand what you're saying, that there is that mentality of not every player thinks about the money and they're not going to stay there. But I don't see why you wouldn't think about the money if they're going to try and supermax him. I don't know, man.
It is a lot of money. It's a big difference.
I mean, I'm not Kemba Walker, but
It's a lot of money.
I would lose to keep making money. To keep
Man.
making that bank.
Well, I think he's going to be a Laker.
I guess I'm what's wrong with the sport.
So everybody got in their Kemba Walker pick. What did you guys say?
He's staying with the Hornets.
I wrote down the Lakers.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
I wrote
Okay.
down the Lakers, but
He was fighting me the whole
it's hard.
time.
He
though.
defends me and then goes the other direction. Unbelievable.
because it's hard. It's hard to give up $100 million. Would you give up $100 million?
Compared to what? Like this. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you win the lottery, are you taking the cash or are you taking the yearly installments? Because the cash is like $40 to $50 million less, but you get it right now.
Well, the contract is the same, so that doesn't make any difference. That doesn't matter.
It's the same concept of you're happier with less or less happy immediately with more.
No, because you're getting paid over 4 years or 5 years, so it's not the same.
I think he's gonna take the money. I'm sorry. I think he's gonna stay with.
I think he's going to get money wherever he goes, but
He's not gonna get paid what he can in Charlotte.
That's correct. Well, we'll find out. This one we could all disagree, but I think that Tobias Harris is actually going to be interesting because he's going to really change a contender. That's what I think. I think he's going to leave. I think Philly's going to be really looking thin after this free agency.
I put Tobias. I have him staying in Philly.
Me too.
Really?
Yeah, I have him staying in Philly.
Well, it's funny that, he's a perfect fit for the Clippers right now.
Everybody's a perfect fit for the Clippers, according to you.
But why wouldn't the Heat throw money at him if they don't get Jimmy? And then
Because he's not Jimmy.
he's still
He's
a
not-
former All-Star that fills
he's
the
not the
wing, plays
same.
both ends, can hit threes and play the post as well.
You
He's
really
not
think
the same type of guy.
Philly's gonna lose both those guys?
I do. I think Philly's hit their ceiling, and some veterans know that before some younger guys.
I don't really trust your opinion, considering you're a Celtics fan.
I'm very honest about the Celtics season, sir. But
chalk trash on
I
the
think
76ers so much.
I think two places where he could actually end up are Portland or Denver. Get a bigger wing.
I can see
You
that.
know, a guy that can play both forwards on a contender. They could make the difference because what if Portland just gives him all the money they can? They have their backcourt, him. They just got Kent Bazemore and Nurkic, or which one?
Nurkic.
Nurkic coming back. That could be the best five in the West,
Yeah,
depending on what the Lakers
that's an interesting.
have.
That's an interesting one. Here's one that just popped in my head. What about Golden State losing Kevin Durant?
Stop it. No, Harrison Barnes is going back to Golden State.
Is his contract up?
Yeah, he just declined his player option
Okay.
because he got traded to Sacramento, and I declined my player option to get out of Sacramento. That's
Yeah.
a place. Oh, so are you saying you might take less money to get out of a certain place?
Yeah, but I don't think Sacramento would give you. Whatever. I stand by my.
I
Kemba
apologize to
Walker
a Sacramento listener. Singular.
pick. If there is one. What are you talking about? You've been trashing Charlotte. What if you have a Charlotte listener?
They should know. They should be realistic about their team, as should the Sacramento listener.
Yeah.
Okay, after Harris, then I guess I'm the odd man out thinking he's leaving. DeMarcus Cousins, big decision time. Does he leave? Does he stay? Weird with how the Warriors are
Yeah,
moving forward.
it's interesting because of everything that played out at the end of the season with
If
the
Kevin
Warriors.
leaves, do you just offer him another mid-level for
That's
1
kind of
year?
what I was thinking. I put DeMarcus Cousins staying in Golden State because I think Golden State's going to be like, we need players, especially if
Yeah.
Klay
KD
Thompson's out. They
leaves.
need somebody.
Yeah.
There's
Depends
not much.
on how much money he'll take, though.
Yeah.
It comes down to what he will take because I could see him on the Knicks. I could see him who was I thinking they could use it? You know, the Clippers. I think they could maybe
Stop putting everybody on the Clippers.
Well, it's if you lose out on a guy, you throw money at the next guy. And in my scenario, the Clippers haven't gotten anybody because they've lost out on Jimmy to Miami. They've lost out on Kawhi,
Yeah, but
staying to the
yeah.
Raptors. You got to give the money to somebody.
Portland maybe. Could be
Portland
a
maybe.
possible fit.
I don't see him as maybe a personality fit with the Portland guys.
I actually don't hate the Clippers choice, by the way.
For DeMarcus.
Yeah.
We'll see because there's a few other places, you know. Some teams just like to throw money. Like the Mavericks could throw money at him because I don't think DeAndre Jordan's going to stay on the Mavericks. It's weird though because he finally got there after that whole like hostage night where he was kept in his house with Doc Rivers and Blake Griffin. That is one of the craziest like stories in NBA
Can we
history.
just pump the brakes and talk about how crazy the Clippers are as an organization? They had a very racist owner, and then the whole hostage negotiation. It's like,
Doc Rivers runs the show.
what a weird.
Ballmer's
franchise.
just a cheerleader with the money that says, "Okay, Doc, here's a check, man. Go get him." And Doc Rivers runs the show.
And the
he gave his
audacity.
son a 3-year contract.
the audacity to be like, well, yeah, LA's got the Lakers. Well, we could be here too. Like, although I will say the Clippers have been more relevant than the Lakers until LeBron.
The
showed
Lakers
up.
have the worst record over the past 6 years in the NBA, and give me every opportunity to say that, please. Yes, you're right.
Oh
the
wait,
Clippers
you
have
don't.
been
A
better.
Celtics fan doesn't like the Lakers. That's really surprising.
Weird how that works. Next, though, Malcolm Brogdon. I think this is another starts with Milwaukee, stays with Milwaukee. I believe he's restricted as well. And I'd want to keep him if I'm Milwaukee because I don't know what Eric Bledsoe wants to do.
I agree. I think he's staying with Milwaukee.
So maybe they let him test free agency, and then they match whatever offer comes his way, and then they have him long term, which I see as a very real possibility.
The thing with Milwaukee is they have to think about how much money they're spending with Giannis's contract coming up next season.
where he'll break the record for NBA
Yeah, and
contract.
he will make.
He'll be making $50 million a year.
I think they projected it at $240 some million for his supermax, which is just ridiculous.
These are baseball numbers.
Just ridiculous. And the thing is that's over 5 years. That's not over 10 years like those baseball numbers are, which is
Mhm.
what makes that even crazier.
Yeah, that is a great point. It's not $10 million a year for 13 years,
Yeah.
you know, or whatever. Next one, oh man, Al Horford. He's leaving, and he's going to the Nuggets. He's going to be the Nuggets' alternate big man for when they need him, because what's his name can barely get up and down the court half the time. And I think that they're going to move on from Paul Millsap and use Horford as more of an off the bench instead of a starter. And I think it's going to make the Nuggets better.
I don't hate it, but I don't know if I'm ready to commit to that.
What are you looking up there?
Nothing. I'm trying to think of the teams that are pursuing him right now. So let's just.
Yeah, I'm looking at the teams, and I'm trying to decide who needs centers. I go through it, and the teams that need centers
Rockets
are not
if
any
they
good.
if they trade Capella.
Like all the teams that have good centers obviously don't need Al Horford, and the teams that don't have good centers are not any good.
aren't competing, and why
Yeah.
would a 30-something-year-old Al
Exactly.
Horford leave
Do
the
you-
Celtics?
He left the Celtics to go. Well, he's not going to go to New York. He's not going to go to Charlotte. He's not going to go to Washington.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know, man. That's a tough one.
Dallas is interesting, maybe.
Yeah,
'Cause,
Dallas.
I mean,
They're gonna throw money at a big man.
So
That's very
So are
going
you
to.
in the camp that thinks that Steven Adams is going to replace?
No,
Al
I
Horford?
don't think they end up trading for Steven Adams because I don't think they have the assets for what Oklahoma City would ask.
Really? Yeah, I don't know, because I mean it's clear that he's
Unless they want like Terry Rozier and Marcus Smart on or Marcus Morris on sign and trades, like that's all Danny
Yeah.
Ainge might give up at this point, and the Memphis first rounder for next year.
I mean it's I don't know.
What are the Celtics going to do at point guard if they lose Rozier?
Marcus Smart's just fine.
So then you have no backup.
We have Marcus Smart, okay, and Isaiah Thomas is coming back. I have him on here. I wrote it down. A lot of talk on how
these players. I have
he
none
lo-
of these players.
I think Isaiah Thomas is going to come back to the Celtics on a mid-level because they're going to need guard depth, and he loved Boston, and Boston still loves him.
I'm trying to look at his
He's
notes.
looking at my guys.
Looking at my notes.
But then
I-
the next big man though is the Celtic that they go after. I think Julius Randle will sign with the Celtics and be their big man coming into the season. He fits more of their youth movement.
Again, a lot of your decisions, I don't hate them. I agree with you.
Thanks, Mom.
You're doing great, hon. Except for Al Horford.
I mean, if
who
anyone,
knows where that dude's gonna end up?
if anyone, I have no idea what Al Horford apparently has. I mean, if you're gonna give up your player option and not be renegotiating, you have heard from another team that they're interested in you and will give you a 4-year deal. We just don't know who.
Miami Heat.
Get out of here. Stop.
Suns.
They'd have to. I don't think that they would make that commitment before trading Whiteside.
It's for they have Whiteside for 1 year, so it's not like it's completely out of the question for a guy who they again don't play.
Also love how
I'm not saying that they're going to
But then
do it because they have Bam Adebayo and they like Bam Adebayo.
But you wouldn't have. But I don't think then you'd have the money for the wing that you need if you go after Al Horford.
No, because they have some terrible contracts. Again, Hassan Whiteside's terrible contract.
Dragic probably isn't the best
Dragic
either.
doesn't have a great contract either. Because I think he's making 19 million.
Well,
this year.
that's another Heat thing is overpay to stay.
They overpaid a lot of guys, and that's why they are stuck where they are right now. They finally got rid of Tyler Johnson. He was making 20 million a year.
Yeah. Tyler Johnson, him and Alan Crabb and Timofey Mozgov were the ones where I was like, there's no way that they can keep up giving these guys these contracts. It was that 1 year where the cap went up like 16%, and Timofey Mozgov got like 4 years.
Was that for the Knicks, right?
So he went to the Lakers, signed him.
Yeah.
And there was that, and there was just an Alan Crabb for like 3 years, $38 million to Portland. It was just horrible. But okay, so I had Julius Randle to the Celtics, and if y'all can think of anything better,
I can't.
New Orleans.
no, not a chance.
No, I don't.
Not a
think so.
chance. I think he's going to be probably a Celtic. Then Marc Gasol,
I think Gasol stays.
he's going to run it back. Yeah, because that's what Toronto's going to do. Maybe
I think they're going to have a very similar team.
we'll see.
He might go to
I got
he
somebody
might
on
go to
here.
the Clippers, huh?
We'll see.
Is that what you're gonna say?
He might go to the Clippers. No, he will not.
Everyone is a possibility to go.
Yeah, I
to the
know.
Clippers.
I swear to God, Paul
next-
thinks everybody's
Next
going to
is
the Clippers.
Bogdanovich, and I think he's going to stay because I think Indiana is big on themselves. I think they can compete, especially if they get another
They showed
guard.
that they could compete with the guys they have. I mean, they were.
I don't think Sabonis is going to keep rising in potential, but Miles Turner.
Miles Turner is a guy who I think he could be very good. Yeah, with
I
Victor
agree.
Oladipo coming back, who's shown that he can lead that team, and they were very very good before his injury.
Next, another-
I think Indiana doesn't really have a choice. I feel like they need to.
No, I mean, yeah, they don't have any options. It's not really a free agent destination. You got the guys that will stay, you got to make them stay because you're already the 4 seed. So expand on that if you can. Next, Brook Lopez. Does he stay in Milwaukee?
I think he goes to the Lakers because they've looked at him. They want him. I
The
think
Lakers
he goes
are
to
an
the Lakers.
Well, they already
in-
had him.
The Lakers are an interesting
They give him. They take him back.
idea because of the way he can shoot.
Well,
shown
he's
he can
reinvented
shoot, yeah.
himself, yeah, and his
And he,
three-point
and he
ability.
is a very good. He's a very good defender as well at the rim. So I mean that would give them. They are now the Lakers already have Tyson Chandler as well. So
How does Tyson Chandler pick up his feet at this point? He was with the number 2 pick in like 2002.
What about the Pelicans?
No,
No,
they're not. I don't think they're going to sign somebody in.
or
that
the Clippers.
years.
Let's
no,
just keep
Pelicans
going
are working
to
for
LA.
like 2 years from now.
What about go to LA maybe?
I could see Brook Lopez joining a contender as maybe a secondary post guy or a bench. What if he goes to the Blazers for the right deal,
I honestly,
and you can mix match those
I
guys?
honestly think they'll go after him again. I think the Lakers will try to bring him.
Somebody's gonna go after Brook Lopez.
Brook Lopez is valuable.
But it just like we can't say where he fits best because he's kind of a could fit, could not fit on basically every contender roster for the same reason that Horford is. Who feels like they need a center? And that's what it'll come down to. That's why he could stay, he could leave. Next, DeAndre Jordan. I think he's gonna be the Nets. Yeah, he's
They
gonna.
have Jarrett Allen. I don't know about.
Jared Allen is a good. He's a good center, but I think I would rather have DeAndre Jordan than
It's
Jared Allen
the same thing.
for the next year or two until Jared Allen maybe fills out a little more. I think he's going to be a good center, but I think he's not where DeAndre Jordan is now. Even though DeAndre Jordan's past his prime, somewhat.
But they're the same player. That's what I'm.
They're the
getting
same
at.
style of player, but they're 28 and 20.
So
DeAndre Jordan's got to be older than 28.
no, he's
No, man, he had like 1 year at A&M.
DeAndre Jordan is 30.
He's 30. Okay, he's 30.
I have it pulled up here. I pulled that
30
up.
and 20.
Because I was seeing. I understand. So you said the Nets. Are you going because you think it's the idea that's been floating around that they're going to entice KD?
I think it's I think it's
to-
the bandwagon. I think it's the boogie move based on like, oh, okay, they got some stars. I'll go play with them, trying to win because DeAndre's a guy that has played well alongside offensive stars.
Kyrie's not Chris Paul though.
Kyrie's not Chris Paul, no, but
Is he
DeAndre
better?
Jordan.
he's
DeAndre
a ball
Jordan.
handler. DeAndre
needs
Jordan, he doesn't
a-
create. You're right.
He
I
needs
hear
a
what you-
Chris Paul.
I hear what you're saying. He doesn't create, but what do they expect from him offensively at this point in his career anyway?
That's why. Why would you want him then?
Because he has more of the experience of competing at a high level defensively, protecting.
What's
the
his high level
interior.
defense compared to Jared Allen?
The
Jared Allen made
second
it
round
to
of the playoff.
Jared Allen made it to the first round. John Jordan made it to the second round. What's the difference?
Years and years of it.
Guys, you're missing it. He should be with the Clippers.
He should just go back.
I-
Face.
Blake Griffin's going back.
Don't tell me you don't hate it.
I will eat the insole of my shoe if if DeAndre Jordan and or Blake Griffin are ever a Clipper again. With how they disrespected Blake Griffin so bad, there is not a chance in hell.
No, that was a
No,
complete
dude,
joke. That was a complete joke.
that was an embarrassment to one of the most exciting up and coming franchises in the NBA. Horrible look. And I don't know if I'd want to go there as a high level free agent after they did him dirty.
I think you
Signed him 5 years, lofted his number to the rafters, saying we're going to put you up there. You will be the Clipper of all time. And then, hey, bro, you're going to Detroit.
where dreams go to die.
6 months later.
Detroit. Do you think the Jenner girl went to Detroit to see him? No, I don't think she did.
Which one?
I don't know. One of them. The one that wasn't cheating on Ben Simmons.
I think if you
Hit
go,
the timer. I took a shot at the Sixers, so hit the timer. We got another 5 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, we should put a cap on that. If we're going with the play to get him to get KD, I could see that. I can understand where that would work. So I agree with you. I think you should.
Yeah.
Go with that.
It only works if Kevin and Kyrie are already there, though.
Kyrie's not going to be there, but
We just
he'll
have
be in LA. But
there's a few more guys here that are difference makers. Paul Millsap, I think he's gonna be gone. I think they might trade Millsap for Horford in Denver, but I don't really know where he's gonna land because he wants to be with a contender
the
at this point
ground.
of his career.
What about Utah? Possibly.
the look you
Back
gave
to Utah. I don't know. I just don't feel like
They could have a need
NBA.
for a four, defensive four to go along with, they need guys. They need more guys. He's experienced.
Right.
He's been to the Eastern Conference Finals a few times. He's an all-star, former all-star. He's not going to be the best player.
Or, what if he's the missing link for Portland?
Possibly.
I can see that.
there's-
Portland really needs wing players.
Portland needs the 3-4 that
Yes.
could be filled by Harris or Millsap or even Butler to an extent, where you get a guy that can guard multiple positions and be comfortable in multiple
I could
positions.
It's not
see-
even about guarding because they have guys who can guard. They need guys who can shoot.
Yeah.
They need guys who can make
No,
shots.
you're 100% right because
Mo Harkless and Al Farouk Amino can defend.
Al-Farouk Amino
but
was
they
the
can't
name I'm
shoot.
looking for. No, he can't. He can guard your wings, but he can't shoot.
Exactly.
And
And they have
so-
two of them.
And that's why they
They're paying
grabbed.
both of them a
That's
lot
why
of
they
money.
just traded for Kent Bazemore today because he could shoot.
I think Millsap is I think is more likely because I was in the camp that I thought Tobias Harris could go to the Blazers, but I think Millsap will probably be the guy that would land at Portland. I like that.
It really sounds like a puzzle piece when you say it and you think about it. He kind of is picking his spot because Paul Millsap could choose between if the Nuggets or the Blazers make the conference finals based on which one he chooses because he is that fifth starter, kind of a missing piece on both of their rosters right now. Because think of the hole that he would leave in Denver if he leaves there.
Yeah. And I think he'd be a good, you said they need shooters, and I think he would be a good addition.
We would be saying this the other way if he was on Portland this year. We would be saying Denver needs one more thing. They got shooters. They got the one big man. They need Paul Millsap. So I think he's going to stay in the West. I think he's either going to. I think those are the two best options for him.
I think if Millsap goes to the Blazers, I think the Blazers have a very good chance of finally making the extra step. I mean, maybe not winning the West, but at least winning a game.
So since we've all kind of like we like the Blazers as like that little kid that's trying hard.
I want the Blazers to be successful.
The three
I
of us
really
right
do.
here, if you're the GM and you have the option, both have said yes to the contract you have offered, would you rather have Tobias Harris or Paul Millsap? Because I think I would rather have Tobias Harris.
Yeah, I would rather have
Oh,
Tobias Harris.
well, yeah, I would take Tobias Harris over Millsap.
Okay, so that's what point, and so it comes back to shooting.
Well, if that's the case,
and Millsap's not a great shooter.
if it's down
from
to
three.
if
Right.
it's down to Tobias Harris and Millsap, yeah, take Harris, and then Millsap goes to the Nuggets.
And
I
he can
think.
stay where he is and,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
compete, and we'll see you in the second round. You know, and somebody will make it to the finals
Yeah.
and lose to LeBron or the Warriors.
Or the Clippers, maybe, because the way you're talking,
Clippers
are
have missed
getting
out on everyone, though.
everybody.
Clippers have swung and missed.
They're still going to be that 8th seed coming in.
They still have Montrezl Harrell and
Hey,
Lou Will.
don't worry, because they'll get Kawhi after his 1-1.
That's
contract.
a real scenario that I like.
I don't think it's wrong. I don't think it's a thing, but I don't know if I'm Toronto, I'm gonna try and sign Kawhi for a longer.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Contract.
yeah, obviously.
Obviously,
I mean, I
they
know,
want to
yeah,
get him
but-
for 5 years. They want to.
But the way that he's talking, he really likes it. You did the right thing. You treated him well enough.
Right.
I mean, who else? Why would you want to stay in Canada? What is there in Canada? Other than maple syrup.
There's a lot of good stuff in Canada. Like Steve Nash
Probably really nice
and
there.
Celine Dion.
Have you seen their money? It looks like Monopoly money, and they call them loonies.
There's a few more guys here. Danny Green, I think he takes the money from winning this championship and showing his experience, and I think he ends up somewhere else. I think he would be a great fit for
Golden
the
State.
Sixers.
I say Golden State.
No.
Think about it. We just said they need depth.
If the Lakers aren't able to sign a Kemba Walker or a Kyrie Irving, Danny Green could be a pretty good fit there as well.
Danny Green is a wing that could fiddle between
A lot of
LeBron
teams,
and Walker. I think
Defensive guy shoots threes. That's his job.
I don't think he's going to stay in Toronto. I think he's going to have his pick of 3 or 4 guys that say we're contending and we think that you would have a spot in this rotation. So I think Danny Green is.
I think he stays, honestly.
He's got 2 rings, but they're Kawhi's rings.
He just follows Kawhi.
He did. He was in the trade, and look at how good it showed in the finals that he was just a throw-in for salary.
He had the highest percentage, did he not?
Yeah, he's one of the top 10 made threes in NBA Finals history.
He has the highest. He has the highest percentage of made threes if you've shot more than 50 in the finals. Yeah, I think that was the stat. But incredible, and it boosts his resume, and he's gonna get paid because of it. Paid. And then JJ Redick, I think he stays. I mean,
I agree.
he's old. They just keep giving him 1-year deals. He'll just stay in Philly.
I could see that too. I don't see JJ moving. Maybe the
I
Clippers.
don't think he wants to move to an actual contender.
To an actual, you don't call Philly an actual contender?
Not until Ben Simmons gets a jump shot.
I love it. I love it.
You
Reset the timer.
brainwashed. Yeah.
Reset the timer.
God, it's gonna be. I hate it when you two.
When
agree
Ben
like
Simmons
that.
gets a jump shot, then Philly has a chance.
You're right though, but that's why they need a guy like D'Angelo Russell and somebody that you have to be honest guarding this guy because he can break you down, he can get by you, he can distribute and shoot from out there. And so that's why they could use Danny Green and JJ Redick and D'Angelo Russell next to Simmons and Embiid, and that's a good starting five.
JJ Redick is a great fit in Philly,
Absolutely.
but JJ Redick doesn't make them a championship team.
He's not the difference maker until you get to the finals, and your difference maker is your 7th man.
Exactly.
And then Harrison Barnes, which I said, yeah, he did decline his player option. He could be on the Heat. Throw money at a wing.
Clippers.
Clippers.
What even
Clippers.
is a Clipper, really?
It's for the ship.
Oh yeah. I don't know. Who cares about the Clippers?
Nobody, but hopefully they get better than the Lakers for like the 7th consecutive year. And then people
Not if they have Kyrie.
not if they whiff on all of these free agents like I predicted they're going to go after like 6 top guys and lose out on
Honestly,
all of them.
Yeah, I have no idea where.
And then there's still the 8th seed next year.
Yeah.
All right, well, that was fun.
Did
We
you
made a
like
lot
my,
of predictions.
David Letterman laugh.
That's what that was.
Yeah.
Your Letterman.
Real quick.
We will be kept honest to these, and we will come back to them because we will do a pre-season extravaganza where we do conference picks, and we will go over the free agents and what we were right and what we were wrong about.
Real quick, I saw something on Twitter before we recorded. And
If it doesn't have a blue check, you can't trust it at this time of the year. It's just that time with NBA
Well,
Twitter.
no,
Don't trust
it-
nothing
it
without
has-
the blue
it's
check.
It's not the NBA. But it is something that I think is interesting to talk about. and
Don't do
it's-
this.
What?
Don't do it.
I'm not doing what you think.
Save it.
We did not talk about
Save
this.
it for next week.
We did not talk about this.
Okay.
I promise you. Did you see what happened with the NCAA? With what they said about California?
Oh, yeah. Super crazy, right? Yes.
So there's an NCAA compensation bill that is trying to go into effect for California schools. And essentially what it's saying, they're just trying to help players get paid, essentially.
it would be you would be compensated for your likeness and jersey sales,
Yeah.
right?
A bill asserting that athletes at California schools can earn compensation for use of their own name, image, or likeness beginning in 2023 easily passed the Senate. So it is happening. 31-4, it passed the Senate. The NCAA is pissed, and they're trying to say that they will block them from winning championships. If
They'll block them from competing. They won't
Competing
be
for
competing. Like they
championships.
can't. There will be no postseason. Was it just postseason, or I thought it was like Division I competition? You will not be playing. You will not be playing intramurally. You can have a California league. Is
Mhm.
basically how I interpreted the threat.
Yeah. We'll talk about this next week when we have more information about it. But essentially, yeah, the NCAA is not happy about
Something
this.
to leave you with that fires you up.
A
Brandon
tease
gave us
for
a
next week.
Brandon gave us a shocked look. So what I want to hear your immediate reaction to this topic before we research it for next week.
Hopefully, it adds everyone else to follow suit, and then the NCAA has no power.
This is the push that comes from an entity higher than the
And
from the NCAA that
honestly-
could actually start this flood.
Yeah, and it's a long time coming. It has been a long time coming. I mean, I've not really pulled punches when I've said we do have slave labor. It's called the NCAA. We might have to hold off a little bit longer because the bill could be reviewed by the Higher Education Committee and would need to be approved by July 11th in order to remain alive this year. So there's still some more legal red tape they got to get to before this becomes a thing. So we might hold off on that a little bit longer, but that's just something to leave you with. I think that's huge that, they will be barred from competing for NCAA championships. And, NCAA's not happy about it.
Yeah, next week I think we're going to have mostly a college football style show for you, where we're coming with some mid-season and some I miss football topics. Like we'll do a deep dive on Gridiron Champions, the football game that comes out next year. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about this new bill and a few other, just college off-season stuff to catch up on, because we just can't fill this time with baseball, guys. There's just there's nothing else. These summers, I caught myself whistling. I've been waiting all day for Sunday night last week while I was working, the Carrie Underwood song, and I was just like, oh, it's going to be that time of year.
Carry on. That's so,
I get the itch. I miss it. I
Can
need
just
it.
say I hate
Sunday night.
I hate those intros. I hate them. Just get to the football. Stop it. We know.
They're a little too theatrical now. Well, all right. Another good episode. We will come back to you with what we were right and wrong about from our NBA picks.
Kyrie.
For
Believe it.
Jake Williams is Kyrie picks. Brandon and I and our more agreeable picks. We'll talk to you next week.